Hi, this is Kim from KimberlyColor.com, and today I wanted to show you how to make this fun ring. It's adjustable and it has this fun wire wrapping around it and a couple spirals. So I'm going to show you how to make it. So for this ring, you're going to need some 20 gauge half hard wire and then some 24 gauge half hard round wire, both round. And you will need wire cutters, you'll need chain nose pliers, and you will need a ring mandrel. So we're going to start with the 20 gauge wire, and we're just going to take our ring mandrel and measure around the size ring that you would like to make. And then you're going to want to leave approximately 2 inches of wire where it overlaps. So the amount where it overlaps, you want a couple of inches. So, and then just make sure you have this pulled tightly. And then remove your ring mandrel. So now I'm going to make a spiral on each end. So to do that, I'm going to make a closed spiral. So you need your chain nose pliers, and you're just going to hold the end, and we're going to do this on both sides. So it's exactly the same thing on each side. So you hold the very end of the wire so it's at the top of the pliers but not poking through, and then you just sort of bend away and you make a little hook. And then you just take your pliers and smush that hook in. And now we're going to make a spiral. So to do that, you're just going to hold that little hook in your chain nose pliers, and then you just push the wire up and around. So you'll start to see a spiral forming, and you just keep doing that. So you can either move your hand with the pliers around, or you can use your thumb on your other hand to move the wire. Sometimes when you're making a ring like this ring, it's easier to just kind of use your hand. And so then we're just going to make a spiral going the other direction on the other end. So exactly the same thing. I made a hook, I smushed a hook, and now you just spiral around using your chain nose pliers. And so sometimes you might find that your ring kind of gets out of shape. Oops. So you can just return it to the ring mandrel and get it back into shape again. Okay, so now we have these 2 spirals. They're going opposite directions. And like I said, if your ring kind of got out of shape, you can put it back on your ring mandrel, and you can really do that anytime if you feel like you need to. So now we're going to use 24 gauge wire, and I'm just going to leave it right on the spool. Let me pull a little bit out so it's a little easier to work with. And we're just going to wrap this around the whole ring to kind of give it a cool, different look. So to start, really it's the hardest part. It's not that hard. You just want to wrap around a couple of times and kind of hold that shorter end, and just make sure you have it securely on the end here. And then we're just going to keep wrapping around the entire ring. And since we've made this adjustable, you can just simply go in between the spirals and just keep wrapping around. And you could do this however you like. You could make really tight wraps, like perfect wraps, or you can do kind of looser organic wraps like I am doing here. And then you get to the end. So I'm going to cut a tail just a little bit here, so it's a little bit easier to work with to end. And then I'm just going to use my pliers to make sure I get the ends wrapped nice and tight here. And then I'm going to use my wire cutters to make flush cuts and cut off the end. And just make sure when you're cutting off the end that you're cutting at the top, kind of the outside of the ring. You don't want it on the inside because it will poke your finger. And then I'm just going to come in and really make sure those ends are not poking out. And again, if your ring gets a little bit goofy, just kind of stick it back on the ring mandrel to get it back into that spiral shape. So this looks really cute as kind of like one of these midi rings that you wear at the top of your finger, or you might want to use it as a pinky ring, or really any kind of ring you want to make it. It works nicely. So that is the ring tutorial.